Okay, back here with the Lawn Chief 300 with the Briggs and Stratton engine. Originally I was just going to go ahead and use the engine, just pull the engine, because I figured it was a low use engine, low time engine. But as I got to working on it, I realized that the rest of the machine actually works. So I went around, and the first thing I did was use Tireject sealant in all the tires. You get these red caps that you put on there. That one stayed up overnight. This one did not, so I'm going to have to spin that one around a bunch more. That one was already holding air. And the most surprising thing is, the worst one of all was this back one, and it has actually sealed all those sidewall cracks, which is just incredible if you ask me. So I'm going to have to fill this one back up once I get it going again and let it do its thing. Fill up with air, that is, and then you got to move it around to all the positions. If there's no Tireject on the sidewall where it's leaking or wherever it might be, it's not going to seal, of course. But the predicament I'm in now is the belt either broke or fell off at the last part of testing yesterday. I actually cut my whole lawn with it just to give it a good run. Had to readjust the carburetor low speed a couple times. Once the engine was used a little bit, it wasn't quite the same as when I first started it. But yeah, it won't move right now, so I don't know if the belt just snapped or if it fell off or where we're at on that. So I'm going to dig into that, and then we'll see what else we can come up with. Look at the angle on it. Looks safe. Let's get underneath it. Looks to me like the belt is still there. I think it just somehow flew off the pulley. Go figure. Okay, found the reason, well, one reason why a belt would fall off. If you look, that bar going from top to bottom is on a real angle. It could pivot up at the top there, but nobody did, and they just bent it toward the pulley, but that's not the pulley it fell off of. So there might be more than one, or I don't know why it fell off. Could be something in that range. But I'm going to correct that piece, make it go straight up and down, and put the belt back on and see what else I can find. Okay, now that I get a better look at it, the thing at the tip of my finger there, that's the pulley guide, belt guide, whatever. That's actually for the deck belt, so it has nothing to do with why this thing got thrown off. So I'm just going to have to check the idler pulley, make sure it's still spinning proper, and see if there's another guide somewhere that's bent out of the way like that one is, maybe. Okay, back underneath again. You can see I got this just off the side of that pulley like it's supposed to be, straight up and down, so it'll prevent the deck one from getting thrown. And then what I did for the back one is I just drilled a self-tapping screw from the top, that screw, to make one. That pulley doesn't have one on the back. Don't know if it needs one on the back, but somehow the thing came off, so maybe that'll buy me a little insurance that it won't fall off again. Now, as far as the cutting deck itself, I could hear something hitting the blades. Obviously it was hitting before I got it. I just need to bend this out because it's gotten caved in over the years, and that blade is directly hitting it. That's all that is. Should be good enough for this one. Now I'm going to pull the blades. I don't think these blades have ever been sharpened. That line is almost straight in the front. Usually, you know, once you sharpen them, they get back a little bit. So obviously, low time unit here, just like I had suspected. These blades are pretty much flat, so that's good. Plenty of more sharpenings to go. For that, I was just using a flap disc instead of a grinding wheel. Throw these puppies back on. Beauty. Scrape the deck just a little bit where the real heavy stuff is, so you get a good flow out of there. This one's not a high vacuum deck. It pretty much just cuts it and doesn't really throw it very far, I noticed. Yeah, that's good. You just want to it'll trap the moisture against the deck and make it pretty weak over time if you leave it. So while I've got this thing up in the air, I'm going to just lubricate, like even the cable itself, not lubricate, but fluid film, rust and corrosion protection, because I have a feeling like these kind of cables with this brand, I have a feeling like stuff like that won't be available if I was to need it. Probably because they didn't sell too many of these kind of machines. So I'm just going to put some on there just in case it helps, and maybe a little on the pivot there. That stuff melts down once the bubbles get gone, and even the adjuster doesn't hurt while you're under there. Steering gear, you can see that up in there. Just give everything a little shot. The other thing I'm going to do is stuff like this. Again, the cable where it's exposed. I don't know, did you even see that? No. The cable where it's exposed, just about everything. The spring, it just prevents rust on everything. Pulley itself, try to get some in the bearing for that idler back behind there. Then he makes it in there. That'll be more than it had before. Stuff like this. If any makes it in there. I mean, these obviously have no grease in them whatsoever. You can just hear them, they just run forever. But if it helps, then it will help. And where else? I don't know, I'll look around. Alright, belt's back on, greased up everything. Also, I found this. A mouse has eaten up a whole bunch of insulation inside of that seat I was sitting on yesterday. I hope he wasn't in there. I don't think so. But other than that, I think this is pretty good. I just got to fill up that tire again. I found the dry cracks are on the inside, so inside sidewall. So hopefully it can seal that up. It worked on the other 2 out of 3, and this one was already holding air. So I think it can get it. It's just a matter of getting the liquid all over inside the tire, running it enough, and getting it to coat